to me, the most non-famous but famous to me person I ever met. You know the drummer Vinnie Colaiuta?
Of course.
Oh, yeah, of course, right? So he's a drummer's drummer. Every drummer knows him. And I lived in LA. I moved out of LA in 2019. So I'm back like outside of LA. But I lived in LA proper for like 12 years. And I've been all over the valley. You know, I gigged around. I never met him in person, even though he lives there, right? And so this was right before I'm going into like my last stint in rehab, like which was January of 2019, right? So
recently.
It was the end of 2019. I had a little stint of sobriety, and then I like had this bad breakup, and I fell out of it. So I'm about to go back in rehab, right? And I go hang out. I was like, my buddy lives in LA. I was like, let's go hang out for the weekend because I'm going to go into rehab on Monday. So I drive up there on a Saturday. I'm not doing hard drugs or anything, but I was like, let's smoke some weed. I hadn't smoked weed in forever, right?
Okay.
So I smoke weed, and I'm ridiculous. I'm so stoned, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm almost too high. So we're like, let's go get food. Well, neither one of us want to drive, but he's in the valley. So we're like, well, we can walk like 5 blocks to this restaurant. Cool. So we start walking, and I'm walking, and I'm so stoned, just looking around. And I look to the right, and I see a guy smoking. And I'm like, that looks like Vinnie Colaiuta. And like everything froze. And I was like, oh my fucking God, that's Vinnie Colaiuta. And I'm just like super high. And I want to like tell my friend, I'm like, bro, but he won't know who he is. So I just walk over to him and I go, excuse me. And he's some guy smoking a cigarette. I'm like, are you Vinnie Colaiuta? And he goes, yeah. Like he doesn't know. I'm like, you're my favorite drummer of all time. And he's just like, oh, cool. Like, he didn't even think I was like a fan. He's like, do I owe you money or something? Like, and people are walking by us, like in between us. He was just out to dinner with his like wife, and he went outside to smoke a cigarette. And I'm nerding out on all these videos, like I know of him and all these gigs he's done. And he was so like, yeah, man, like just stoked that someone was fanboying over him. And my friends with me, and I'm like, this is Vinnie Colaiuta. You don't know who that is, but he's like the greatest drummer of all time. And I'm freaking out. And then like afterwards, I was like, did that actually happen? Like out of all the times I live in the valley doing my drum thing, the one time I'm up there, and I don't even live there anymore. The one time I'm up there, stoned, of course, before we're about to go to rehab, my life's in the shitter, right? The worst version of me. I meet my drum idol, and I'm like, well, that was cool at least. Yeah. You know, that's kind of a nice little bonus for the day. But that was probably I freaked out over that. And I like took a picture with them, and then I never posted the picture because I looked awful. I was like, this is just for me.